It don't matter the color of the skin, either woman or man. Just let the case land. It's here, it's in safe hands. This is God work, not a fake plan. Too many kids being found in these lakes, man. This is MTGV, and you with Miss V. She keep
Welcome in, everybody.
A drum to a beat. This is the place that you wanna be, but all trolls we delete. You better believe. Just so you know we on.
Shout out to BFF in the building, and shout out to everybody popping in. Please smack that thumbs up if you haven't already.
Just so you know we on go. For those that's taking these souls, we know, but it's getting so out of control. Thank you for tuning in to MTGV, True Crime TV. Y'all know what it is, man. Team Vibe, Miss V. And make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you leave a comment too. Yeah. We're gonna see you on the flip side.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Shout out to everybody in the building. So today we're gonna be talking about Timothy Haslett. And he has been terrorizing the black community. And it appears that, he was getting assistance because wasn't nobody talking about it except for one black man. His name is Reverend Caldwell. He actually let them know. He said, we got another serial unaliver in our community. Something about Prospect in Kansas, a street called Prospect in Kansas, Missouri, that some black women were just coming up missing from this area and nobody seemed to care. Okay. There was a serial unaliver back in the 80s, right? And the same pastor, Mr. Tony Caldwell, put out a call to law enforcement and was letting them know that women were coming up missing. Parents were reporting their children, their adult children missing. And one of the ladies actually was asked, do you even have a child? Now, from my understanding, this was back in the 80s. This guy, to me, has been powered by many people. The police not doing anything about it, and the news not talking about it, and everybody turning a blind and deaf eye and ear because this only rocked the black community. And nobody seemed to give a damn until they had to. So there was a lady that went missing. She was she was in her 20s. Her name was TJ. This guy kidnapped her and held her hostage for almost a year. I mean, almost a month. I'm sorry. But there were other women that he kidnapped that people have been looking for, and they was nowhere to be found. Well, he was placing these black women in barrels and leaving them God knows where. But some guys ran across one of the barrels and the top came off. They found the skull. They thought they were going to be doing some type of target practice with this blue barrel that they found. But when they picked it up, the top came off and whatever was in it happened. And I do believe that that's when they found a lady named Janie. But I'm going to go through a series of videos. I'm going to read some documents. I like to get all the way in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to be doing. Initially, I was going to try to cover everybody that's on my thumbnail, but it's so much information with this Tim Haslett thing, and he haven't even gone to court yet. So we're going to focus on him today, and the other people on the thumbnails. I can't go live. Well, I might go live tomorrow. It'll just be a different time due to my schedule. But this week or throughout the weekend, I'm going to be covering the other cases that's on the thumbnail. But let me know if y'all heard about this. Shout out to Angel Sar Chinetta. Welcome in. She said, good afternoon. Angel said, thanks for sharing. Yeah, listen. So basically what we've been covering is how the black community is being targeted by KKK members, period, point blank. The guy was a known racist. People that knew him said that he was racist. He was all over Facebook typing ridiculous stuff about black folks and how he felt like if you act like a human, he'll treat you like one. He hated his wife. He had sole custody of his son. I don't know how much of this his little child had to hear, a single digit child. You know, as a matter of fact, he was taking that kid to school when TJ was able to escape, wearing a garbage bag with some type of lace and a chain around her neck that was restricting her breathing. And she went knocking on everybody's door trying to get help. And had she not escaped, she would have ended up just like everybody else that this disgusting piece. I'm gonna try, y'all. These cases upset me so much I can't be myself. I'm my angry self when I'm talking about these cases, and I really don't like to be my angry self. And that's why I kind of like, teetered around these, but now it's time to dive all the way in. I've talked about this guy before. I think I got a playlist. If I don't, I'm gonna start one today because we gonna follow this. They talking about the trial might not even happen until 2026. But the thing that blows me away about this case, like I was talking about the guy Tony Caldwell, he's warned them before. It's been like 3 different times where this particular street was targeted by serial unalivers, and this dude, he wanted a sex slave. He threatened her and kept her in check by letting them know, hey, I had other women here, and they ain't here no more. Electrocution, and just this dude is just disgusting. Everything that you heard about that happened back in the slavery days, that's what this dude was doing. That's what he was doing. I will never understand how you can hate somebody, but you also lay down with them, the same person that you hate. I mean, wow, y'all. We gonna get into it. Let's go.
Timothy Haslett was already facing charges for imprisoning a woman in a dungeon and raping her. I'm Bria Love.
And I'm John Holt. Clay County prosecutors now have an indictment in hand alleging Haslett killed another woman that same summer. Fox 4's Dave DeMarco has been covering new developments in this case out of Excelsior Springs for the past 2 years. He's live tonight outside the Clay County Courthouse in Liberty. Dave?
John and Bria, it was a grand jury indictment today on those same 9 charges that Timothy Haslett already faced from that disturbing case back in 2022, plus a new charge today of first-degree murder. In October of 2022, a woman with a padlocked metal collar around her neck and duct tape went running from an Excelsior Springs home on Old Orchard Street, saying she'd escaped a basement where she'd been held hostage for weeks. Prosecutors say the room was best described as a dungeon.
The physical, psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric.
Timothy Haslett was charged then with rape, multiple counts of sodomy, assault, and kidnapping, along with felony child endangerment. The woman said she escaped when he took his child to school. But as horrifying as those details were, the victim also said Haslett told her 2 other women he held captive using gas masks and electrocution devices didn't make it. Initially calling her a key witness, investigators centered their search for 36-year-old Janie Crosdale.
During the investigation, over 100,000 photo and video files were recovered, and investigators have been spending countless hours reviewing them for relevant evidence.
Today, for the first time, the prosecutor said at least one of those images showed Crosdale in Haslett's basement. He allegedly told the other victim he put his victims in blue barrels like those investigators would find at the home. And last summer, a barrel washed up on a riverbed in Saline County, Missouri. The remains inside were confirmed to be Crosdale. After months of investigation, a new charge today, confirming what the family always suspected. The prosecution's key witness was a victim, killed before the other woman's escape.
The new charge is for the murder of Janie Crosdale.
Now, Haslett is being held on $5 million bond, and he could face life in prison or the death penalty if convicted. His next court appearance and the first time we'll be facing that murder charge is September 10th. Now, remember, that woman said that he said that he killed 2 people. Coming up at 10, Bria, I'll tell you why the prosecutor said today there's just 1 murder charge.
Excelsior Springs police received a report last month of a woman who was going door to door screaming for help. Now, police did arrest Timothy Haslett Jr., and officers say a 911 caller reported that the woman had a rope around her neck. It happened at a home near Old Orchard Street and Don Shelton Boulevard in Excelsior Springs. The woman told
Dude, do you mean to tell me I've been talking all this time on mute? Have I been talking on mute? Oh, it went off. Are we frozen? Okay, I'm so happy. I wasn't even looking at the chat, y'all. I looked at my button and noticed that it was mute. So, okay. We can't hear you. Okay. God dang it. Good. Y'all couldn't hear me because I was talking crazy. No, I wasn't. I'm going to go ahead and let this play and I'm going to start over. I'm going to let this play. Thank y'all so much. And I do apologize for that. I'm going to get right back into it. I was reading an article.
Excelsior Springs police received a report last month of a woman who was going door to door screaming for help. Now, police did arrest Timothy Haslett Jr., and officers say a 911 caller reported that the woman had a rope around her neck. It happened at a home near Old Orchard Street and Don Shelton Boulevard in Excelsior Springs. The woman told police she had been kidnapped and sexually assaulted. She also told police she was able to escape and claims she may not have been the only woman that was held against her will in that house.
Thank you.
You may remember that there were reports on social media that women were disappearing from Kansas City's urban core. At the time, Kansas City police denied that those reports had any validity. Now, Haslett continues to be held on $500,000 bond. He was evicted from his home in court proceedings earlier this week. A preliminary hearing for Haslett is now scheduled for December 2nd.
Yeah, they dragging this out pretty far.
This has been an unusual case. It has spanned nearly 2 years. So we want to catch you up to speed and bring in KSHB 41 reporter
2 years.
Caroline Hogan.
So Caroline, walk us through how we got to this point. Well, Kevin and Caitlin, it's been almost 2 years now since Timothy Haslett Jr. was taken into custody, accused of rape and kidnapping at his home in Excelsior Springs. Take a look at your screen. That was in October of 2022. Police said a woman escaped from Haslett's home and knocked on neighbors' doors for help. Excelsior Springs police eventually identified another woman, Janie Crosdale, who's pictured here as a potential witness, and we're trying to find her. They wanted to know if she had any information regarding Haslett's criminal charges. Police believed Crosdale and Haslett had been in contact. Then, in June 2023, Missouri State Highway Patrol confirmed Crosdale's body was found in the Missouri River in a blue barrel by 2 kayakers. Police confirmed to our I-team last summer that Haslett was a possible suspect in her death. It all comes back to today's charges. Haslett had previously pleaded not guilty in February 2023 to the original rape and kidnapping charges. In the studio, Caroline Hogan, KSHB 41 News. Back to you guys.
Yeah, this guy is disgusting. I mean, he really is. I can't even get it together. But shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all, please smack the thumbs up. I got 13 thumbs up and 116 people in the building. Please smack the thumbs up, y'all. So I'm gonna start over because what I was doing was reading this article. And hold on, it's hot up in here. Hot. Okay, so I seen a picture of like 9 women that that looks like they've figured out that he unalive. But one of the things that we gonna listen to is the pastor, the guy Tony Caldwell that knew about all of this and was ignored. I'm talking about nobody wanted to hear. The police, because the police wasn't talking about it, the news wasn't reporting on it, and this woman that the TJ who we're talking about, she didn't even have to endure this if they would have just taken heed. And the incident when it happened back in the 80s, they were literally finding these women. The community was finding these women, right? And they said it wasn't until they found the 4th person that they started taking them seriously. So this was in the 80s, that part. So on October 7th of 2022, just before 8 a.m., police responded to the 300 block of Old Orchard Street because a woman had been knocking on doors and asking for help. Police made contact with the woman who was wearing SEX paraphernalia and as well as a metal collar around her neck with a padlock and duct tape, according to the court documents. I remember them saying that she had on a trash bag, some type of lace also, because that's all he had her chained up, and every 5 minutes, that's what he was doing to her. However, whenever, and all the time, basically. Just sick. The woman was all of 70 pounds by the time they found her. He was restricting her breathing, her food, and everything. He was doing unimaginable things to her while putting fear in her by reminding her of the other women that he already took out. So they said police made contact with the woman who was wearing the paraphernalia as well as, okay, I read that. So the woman said she had been picked up from Prospect Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri on September 2022. So Haslett allegedly picked her up in a truck and offered her $350 because she was a woman of the night. That's what these people are on that street. And also, it's a lot of drugs and everything that comes with that lifestyle. And he knew that. They target people that are less likely to be, that somebody's looking for them. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't no different with the truck drivers because of their lifestyle and they away from home. People don't know that they miss them, and it's hard anyway. It's an easy lick, so easy licks is what they be looking for. Was half feeding her, and the only time she got food was after she performed some type of act for him, who hates black people. But for whatever reason, he wanted to be up in it, and I don't get that. I never will, but I know that was a part of it back in slavery times, the collars and everything. Just sick. We're not human, but yet you want to do that. So I don't know what that make him. Disgusting. It's so many things I could say, but I'm trying to stick to this. And we are being attacked in every way. Okay. So the court documents also detailed what she says happened when they arrived at Haslett House. Okay. So court documents showed the victim told police Haslett pointed the gun at her and all of that stuff. He also forced her to perform acts on him and to take the drugs. He allegedly took all of her cell phone devices. I heard she had 300. I heard she had 3 cell phones and he took all of them. So the documents also detailed what she says happened when they arrived to his house. In those documents, the woman said he restrained her with locks in a bedroom in his basement, described as the dungeon. There, the woman said Haslett assaulted her sexually and called her his sex slave. That's what she was for, right? And he treated her like one, whipping her and everything. Okay? So she also said in the documents that Haslett said there were 2 other women that he had held captive that were unalived. He allegedly told the surviving victim that he took them out. One woman by using a gas mask on her. The other woman, I think hold on. Yeah. One of them he used the gas mask and the other one from electrocution. So he also allegedly told her that a second woman died from electrocution after he assaulted her sexually. Like, then the Janie woman, they believe that he fired at her while she was in that barrel. He also had surveillance cameras all over his house and different things like that. Now they claim that these cameras wasn't set up like the hard drive wasn't set up or some crap like that. They also said that it was powered by using backed up by using an SD card, which the SD card wasn't in it too. I'm like, come on now. Come on. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to retrieve all of the footage or not, but I don't know why you would have cameras and they're not working. Then on the other hand, they said they seen Janie in like a freeze frame, and I do believe that was from his footage. So court documents show the victim told Haslett he pointed a gun at her, forced. Okay, hold on. So he allegedly told the surviving victim that he unalived one of the women with the gas mask. Okay, the other one, the second woman, died from electrocution after he did what he did. Court documents show Haslett told the victim that if she did not listen to him, he would suffocate her and put her in a barrel just like the rest of them. So the woman said Haslett would punish her by shocking her and even kept food from her unless she performed the act. The documents say the woman managed to escape the room by slipping her arms out of the chains and running out of the home while Haslett had left to take his son to school. Now, the school was only like 2 or 3 minutes away. She did not have a lot of time to get away from this guy. And as a matter of fact, he had told her, if you try to escape, I will take you out and whoever helping you. But she took her chance. And thank God she was able to get up out of there away from this savage beast. So she also said the documents say that the woman managed to escape, which I read this, by slipping her hands out of the chains and running out of the house while Haslett had left to take his son to school. And she probably had lost so much weight, he didn't realize it, that she was getting smaller and them cuffs was getting bigger. So thank God. But of course, she's going through a lot. I mean, now, I read something where they talking about because she's still homeless and living on the street. It's like, man, like, They worried that to me, they need to go on and get this court over and done with. Why y'all gonna wait to 2026, especially if you worried about her? But search warrants executed on his home. So on the day that Haslett was arrested, court documents show investigators executed the warrant on his home. Inside, investigators located numerous items of lingerie, items used, some that he was wearing himself, disgust bucket. He was wearing himself, used for items used for electronic storage, external hard drives, and cell phones, along with other things. So this is everybody's belongings that he done took inside. Let's read that again. Inside, investigators located numerous items of lingerie, items used for electronic storage, external hard drives, and cell phones, among other things. They also located numerous large blue barrels and a black gas mask. This dude he frequents Home Depot. I want to know where the rest of the barrels at. Did they find all of them? Who was helping them store them? Because if you go to a certain area and every time you look around, it's a new blue barrel, wouldn't you think somebody would call somebody? Yeah, you would think. Shout out to Queen Bee in the building. They wanted bloodshed. It seemed like it. They know what they were doing. Yeah, this is disgusting. This is sick. And even sicker that they wanted to wait till we listen at the guy. I don't know if y'all, let me know if y'all know about this case. Say yes if you familiar with this case. Say no if you're not. But I'ma definitely play the man. He got so much to say. And it just lets you know what we're dealing with. It's like never ending. So BFF know about it. It's crazy, y'all. Hold on. Look, I want to eat and read, and I can't do all this. Hold on. So, and of course, I lost my spot. I think I was there. So it says they also located numerous large blue barrels and a black gas mask. So documents show this man and had a child there, y'all. His son was there. How did his son not? You know good and well, because I ain't hear nothing yet about a padded, soundproof room or anything like that. How much did his son hear? How much did his son know? You know, I mean, but of course, soon as this happened, they let the boy go back with his mother where he should have been in the first place. I'm sure that they divorced. It was a whole lot going on. Look at his appearance. He looked like a caveman. So documents show that in his basement, investigators located the dungeon, which had 2 security cameras inside the room, as well as one outside of the room, which was pointed towards a shower. So investigators also reviewed photos on one of his cell phones, which showed another woman lying on a floor next to a bed. So the room she was in contained restraints, chains, and handcuffs. The other woman shown in that photo was different from the woman who managed to escape. Let me tell y'all, when this man was saying that women was coming up missing on Prospect, they was telling them he actually went live, and a lot of people responded to it, and I guess they was probably hitting them up like, what, this is going on, that going on. They sent out a dang press release like, there's nothing going on. We do not have a serial person. And it's just like, listen to the damn community. You don't live there, but they don't care because it's a black community. That's what it's looking like. So this bastard was able to do this for a long damn time because didn't nobody want to address it. See, I'm getting angry. I cuss when I'm angry, and listen. Hold on. This is annoying. It's upsetting to me. I'm going to take a break and read. Hold on.
Good afternoon.
So now
My
I can
name is
eat
Zach
something.
Thompson. I'm the Clay County Prosecutor. I am joined by Chief Greg Dole of the Excelsior Springs Police Department, Sergeant Chris Johnson of the Clay County Sheriff's Department, Captain Nathan Mulch of the Liberty Police Department, Captain Carl Burris of the Gladstone Police Department, and also in attendance is investigators Michael Bailey and Tammy Hink with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office. I want to begin by saying that the charge of defense is not evidence of guilt, and the defendants are presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law. I also want to say that my heart goes out to the victims and the families in this case. Today, the Clay County Grand Jury indicted Timothy Haslett Jr. on 10 felony counts. The defendant was previously charged with 9 felonies, including rape, sodomy, kidnapping, assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Those charges remain the same. The new charge is for the murder of Janie Crosdale. Specifically, that between June 6, 2022 and October 7, 2022 in Clay County, Missouri, the defendant, after deliberation, knowingly caused the death of Janie Crosdale by an act of homicidal violence. Murder in the first degree is an A felony, and the range of punishment for that offense is either death or imprisonment for life without the eligibility of probation or parole. The court set the defendant's bond at $5 million. We became aware of the facts of this case beginning on October 7, 2022, when the defendant's surviving victim was able to escape captivity from the defendant's basement. Since that day, the defendant has remained in custody. Investigators from over 16 law enforcement agencies have worked together pursuing over 100 leads and reviewing evidence. I commend their hard work on this case. During the investigation, over 100,000 photo and video files were recovered, and investigators have been spending countless hours reviewing them for relevant evidence. Today's indictment represents the next step in our pursuit of justice for the victims, the families, and our community. The physical, psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric. When crimes like this occur in our community, it can be devastating. So I want the citizens of Clay County to know that the men and women of the Clay County Prosecutor's Office are working hard inside and outside the courtroom and doing everything we can to keep them safe and deliver justice. Our work continues. I would urge anyone who knows anything about this case to contact the Excelsior Springs Police Department. With that being said, and understanding this is an open and pending case, I will answer a few questions.
So you think Crosdale was killed before the person escaped?
Correct.
And do you think there are other victims, like the witness stated that Timothy had told them that there were multiple people that he killed previous to the woman escaping?
So today's indictment represents all available charges with the facts and evidence available to us. Right? The surviving victim did mention that the defendant stated he had killed 2 people, but today's charges represent everything we can charge with the available evidence.
It's one additional charge, more than the 9 that were already existing, correct?
Correct. The 9 original charges are the same. The only additional charge is the charge of murder in first degree.
How do you believe that somebody has the came to know Janie Crosdale?
Well, the evidence is that Janie Crosdale had previously been arrested for commercial sex work, and that is how they came in contact with each other. But I want to say to your question, right? In Clay County, regardless of who you are, how much money you have, what the color of your skin is, everyone is entitled to equal protection under the law.
To you, what stands out most? What's most egregious about this case?
So my goal in this case, like every other case, right, is to find justice inside the courtroom. So I will save all those comments in the presentation of that type of evidence for Clay County courtroom.
Mr. Haslett suspected of any other crimes of violence this time?
So the probable cause statement indicates, right, that he had told his surviving victim that he had taken the life of 2 previous people, right? The charge we have right now for murder, Janie Crosdale represents all available charges that is possible considering the facts and evidence we have.
Can you clarify in the probable cause statement, it described Ms. Crosdale as being with some kind of projectile? I can't remember the exact wording. Was she shot, or what does that mean in everyday terms? Do we know?
So the autopsy done indicated that there was perimortem wounds, which means at or near the time of death, right? They described those as high impact. There is evidence that the barrel where Ms. Crosdale's remains were found, that it was shot. There appears to be a hole in the barrel.
Do you think she was shot in the barrel, possibly?
Well, the evidence indicates, right, that her remains showed impact was consistent with a gunshot.
Does this new charge move folks in the step of justice? I mean, what should citizens be thinking? This really shook up the community. Lots of communities, when they heard about this case, a lot of people are hoping for justice.
I think the takeaway from this case is the fact that law enforcement officers from over 16 different agencies worked together, spent countless hours investigating this case, and were able to bring the next step for justice for the victims, the families, and our community.
And when is the next date or trial, or where are we on that?
So the court would have set a date. I can get that information to you for the next court date. Our victim advocate has been in communication with Ms. Crosdale's family. I don't want to speculate as to what their emotional statement is.
If there's time for just one quote, what's the main thing you want people to hear when they hear about these egregious new offenses and charges?
I think that the takeaway, right, is that law enforcement agencies in Clay County, the Clay County Prosecutor's Office will work hard to protect you, and it doesn't matter where you come from or how much money you have in the bank or what your job is. You deserve equal protection under the law.
Yeah. I know you had originally said already that you told the surviving victim about taking the life of another person. Are there any leads of whether you're actually operational at this time?
So this remains an open investigation. To that point, I would ask anybody with any kind of information about the case, please reach out to law enforcement and share that information. But it remains an active investigation.
Can you reiterate your report that Haslett to Ms. Crosdale for the DNA evidence as well?
So Ms. Crosdale appears on a still image taken from Mr. Haslett's electronic device, showing her inside his basement. An SD card depicting individuals connected to Ms. Crosdale was found inside his house, and he made statements to the surviving victim that he had taken someone else's life. And Ms. Crosdale was also found in a blue barrel of the same manufacturer as the ones found at the defendant's house.
Were there any other, besides the surviving victim and Ms. Crosdale, people shown inside his basement?
So this remains an open investigation, right? So, but I can say that the indictment today represents all available charges relevant to the facts and evidence that we have today. If there are no more questions, I thank everyone for their time.
Okay, so we gonna talk about Janie for a minute here. That's the lady that they was just talking about in this, and this is like the same one. So I don't want that one. But hold on, y'all. Give me a second. We'll cover this up right quick. Yeah, this dude is sick. He definitely looked depressed and a whole lot of other things. You know, it looked like he should have just, took himself out of his misery. But so on August 12th of 2023, we got to remember the lady TJ who was able to escape. That was September of 2022. Janie washed up in 2023, and it ain't no telling. I mean, I seen 9 different women, but I seen 9 different women. I don't know everybody's name or anything like that, but we gonna get into it. So it says on January 12th, 2023, the family of Janie Crosdale contacted police to file a report because they had not heard from her since September of 2022. So the family member said she saw Crosdale while watching a local television news after police said Crosdale may have been a witness to the Haslett case. So that's why they even started looking for her, because they seen it on the news. According to this article, okay, like, Lord, police also spoke with two other family members, one who said they hadn't spoke to Crosdale since March of 2022, and another one said they hadn't seen her since August of 2022. The thing that's in common is 2022. Nobody seen her after that. So near Independence Avenue and Van Brunt Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri, that's where they seen her last. Authorities weren't able to find any evidence that Crosby was alive after the early days of June of 2022, according to the court documents. So Janie Crosby remains, that's the one that they located inside of a barrel in Missouri River. On June 24th of 2023, Janie Crosdale remains were located in the Missouri River. The two kayakers contacted Missouri State Highway Patrol and told them they were on a kayak trip when they decided to camp for the night near an area known as Hill Shoe Island. So the kayakers said they found the blue barrel that contained Crosdale remains and were going to use it for target practice. They moved the barrel around, setting it down. The lid came off and the remains appeared. The remains were analyzed by the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office and later confirmed the remains were Crosdale's on July 31st, 2023. Okay, so a little bit over a month later. So notably, the court documents didn't identify Crosby, but the circumstances listed inside of them matched previously released information by authorities on the investigation into Haslett and Crosby. And when TJ had escaped, she said, "My friends didn't make it." She didn't say friend, but she put an S on it. She knew what this dude was capable of, and she knew that she might not make it out of there. Wow. What do y'all think about this? And so, yeah, very disturbing. Shout out to Debbie Smith. Welcome in. Wow. Yep. Sick. They don't care. Now that it's coming upon them, they don't like it. Yep. Oh, this is crazy, y'all. Okay, so that was the end of that article. Let me see if I got any more videos to play. And then I'm going to get into the guy that's been known about this and other people that were aware and they can speak on how they were ignored by law enforcement.
The Excelsior Springs Police Department, Sergeant Chris
and everything.
Johnson, the Clay County Sheriff's Department, Captain Nathan Mulch of the Liberty Police Department, Captain Carl Burris of the Gladstone Police Department, and also in attendance is investigators Michael Bailey and Tammy Hink with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office. I want to begin by saying that the charge of an offense is not evidence of guilt, and the defendants are presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law. I also want to say that my heart goes out to the victims and the families in this case. Today, the Clay County Grand Jury indicted Timothy Haslett Jr. on 10 felonies.
Brutal and barbaric. Choice words from the Clay County prosecutor adding murder charges to an ongoing case. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Ketz.
And I'm Laura Moore. It's the victim, 36-year-old Janie Crosdale. Police found her body last year in the Missouri River in Saline County. Tonight, Timothy Haslett Jr. faces charges for her death and the violent kidnapping of another woman.
Violent kidnapping of another woman. Like, dude, what the hell? Wonder why his wife left. Can y'all think of a reason? I wonder how much did she know? How much of this was going on back then? Like, wow.
Words from the Clay County Prosecutor adding murder charges to an ongoing case. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Cass.
And I'm Laura Moritz. The victim, 36-year-old Janie Crosdale. Police found her body last year in the Missouri River in Saline County. Tonight, Timothy Haslett Jr. faces charges for her death and the violent kidnapping of another woman.
KMBC 9's Brian Johnson is live at the Clay County Courthouse in Liberty. And Brian, you've read those charging documents, what detectives are saying about this case.
Yeah, Chris Lyle, the probable cause outlines in painful, gruesome, graphic details all of the crimes Timothy Haslett Jr. is accused of doing. Among those crimes, he now faces a 10th charge, including murder. And today we got a lot of details about those charges. Janie Crosdale's body was found last year in Saline County, Missouri, in a blue barrel similar to those found at Haslett's house in Excelsior Springs. The prosecutor says the evidence indicates Crosdale may have been shot inside the barrel. Police say Crosdale was arrested for commercial sex work. That's how they believe Haslett met her. And Haslett had images of her inside his home. He's charged with her murder. Now, Haslett was already facing 9 other charges, including felony rape, kidnapping, and 2 counts of assault after a 22-year-old woman allegedly broke free from his Excelsior Springs home. That woman ran to a nearby home, said she had been taken hostage, held in a small room in the basement, bound, beaten, and raped. Haslett now faces 4 counts also of sodomy and endangering the welfare of a child. Today we learned 16 different police agencies followed 100 leads. They recovered 100,000 images and video files of evidence.
The physical, psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric.
And the woman told investigators that escaped, she told investigators that he confessed to her, Haskell confessed to her that he had killed 2 other people. Of course, if Timothy Haslett Jr. is convicted of these charges, he could face life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Live on Liberty, Brian Johnson, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Brian, thanks. Haslett has been in custody since the first woman escaped in 2022. His bond has been set at $5 million.
You think she knew, huh? That's crazy if she did and didn't say nothing.
Okay, and you said that your mom lives here. You don't live here, but your mom lives right here?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me first of all just what you know about the people who live in this house or what you've seen.
I mean, I come over here a couple, 2-3 times a week just to hang out with mom, obviously. And every time I've come out here, I shouldn't say every time, but often he's outside, playing with his dog. He's got a little drone that he flies around outside. And he always seemed like he was a little weird, but never anything to that extent. Yeah.
And so you mentioned you've delivered pizzas to that house multiple times?
Yeah, so I used to work at a Pizza Hut here in town, yeah, and I've delivered to his house several times, and I always thought it was weird when he asked us to come inside to give the tip, but I mean, several people do that, but
come inside.
For some reason it was just weird with this guy, and clearly we missed something that we should have saw.
Did you go inside?
Yeah, just into the living room, not very far in, just right inside the doorway usually.
When you say weird, is it just a bad vibe?
Yes, exactly. Just quiet,
creep.
Not someone that would invite you in their living room and then not talk. People usually invite you in their living room, they want to talk to you or something, you would be silent after I walk in there. And it's just, he's a weird guy.
Yeah. So I know we're still waiting for confirmation from police, but we at least know they're investigating kidnapping and sexual assault. So what's your reaction to what we do know so far?
It's insane. I can't imagine that. I can't believe that happened in this neighborhood. Nothing like that's ever happened around here, as far as I'm aware, and it just blows my mind.
Sorry.
Just can't imagine how it could happen.
Yeah, knowing that you've been there and you've been in that house, I mean, how does that make you feel, or what's your reaction?
Since I've heard about this all this morning, I was sitting at work earlier thinking about it. Like, I wish I would have caught something, saw something that was off, weird. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but I've delivered pizzas to him for a few years, and I just never saw anything.
But hearing that she may have been thinking of Dolores, the woman that was able to escape and asking neighbors for help. What do you think about the fact that, the woman had to do that and that thankfully somebody did?
I'm glad that somebody opened the door. I'm glad that she was able to escape. I don't know how that happened, but thank God.
Wow, like.
Even though the department says there are no reports of missing Black women in Kansas City, Councilwoman Raina Park-Shar says the department could be doing more.
Listen to the community and look at the policy so that we can.
Let me see, when was this? Because I know that this stuff was going on. Let's see. And they act like they didn't know nothing, didn't want to know nothing, and didn't want to listen to the people that did know something. But then they want to, thank everybody for helping and do. I can't even get to the dang on date. But yeah, thank everybody for this, that, and the third. When nobody wanted to do a dang on thing when they should have. A lot of the stuff could have been prevented if they would have listened to the community. So I'm gonna get to that video. We're gonna listen to the guy who can give us some real details.
And the media.
And the media.
Yes.
Now this
You are totally correct.
this particular interview is coming from Hidden True Crime. She was covering this case from the beginning. I remember watching some of her videos, and she followed it pretty well. So I just want to hear what he had to say, because this shows you the ridiculousness of what we've been covering over here.
And it hurts my heart, and it's not for me. It's for those young ladies that did make it out. The young lady that had to continue to endure that, if they would have listened when we first said something about it, I'm in my heart, I'm just thinking she wouldn't have to endure that long. But if she would have never escaped, she would have ended up like her friends, and no one would have ever knew. You know, they would have just kept saying, no, there's no one out here snatching women. No, there's no one out here killing women. No, there's no one out here raping women. And it would have just went dismissed, literally.
Right. And this is something that you've seen happen over and over again in your community too, right? That you are dismissed and your community is dismissed. Is that something you've been seeing?
Yes, it is. And matter of fact, let's take Prospect by itself. There has been so many women that have been abused on Prospect, from the Prospect area, from the inner city area, that go just like it's nothing. They don't recognize them. They don't believe them. It gets swept underneath the rug. And this is, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The way that it's almost like, here it is again, we don't exist. We don't exist. And I guarantee you this young lady, all the stuff that she had to endure, within the next 30 days, they won't even be talking about her anymore. That hurts my heart. And it'll be back to business as usual. It'll be back to who cares. It'll be back to, you know, well, whatever happens on Prospect, that's just it. Whatever happens on Independence Avenue, who cares? But these are lies. I don't care what they've done. If you look at, we used to have this thing where, before we knew who Terry Blair was.
Welcome in, Angela.
They called him the Prospect Corridor Killer.
Yeah, tell us about him. I was going to bring him up. Tell us about him.
He preyed on women on Prospect. And for a long time, they kept saying, no, he wasn't. No, he's not a serial killer. But because they kept saying no, because of the young ladies were in a certain area, it just got swept underneath the rug.
See?
Again, we ran across the first body that were the first victim, let me put it that way. As we were,
y'all, please smack the thumbs up. It's 72 people with 25 thumbs up. Please smack the thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And thank y'all for still hanging out.
Doing a neighborhood cleanup from the Prospect Corridor Killer. And we ran across several. During that time point, we were doing cleanups. And at the first one, they just dismissed. The second one, they said, well, it was just because of someone got caught out in the elements. It wasn't until the fourth one that they finally started to recognize we have a problem.
How ridiculous is that? They made excuses. Oh, it's the element. Oh, it's that, this, that, and the third, and not listening to the community. Who cares if you find 4 Black women unalived? Who cares? Allegedly.
Why did it have to take 4 young ladies to lose their life? And this was in the 1980s, is that correct?
Yes.
And you were warning them then, decades ago. This is like deja vu. This is the same thing happening over and over.
All over again. Not only then, I mean, then we had Bordella here in Kansas City again. He did the same exact thing. He preyed upon people up and down that same area.
Same street.
And off of Independence Avenue. Because he knew if anyone goes to the authorities, it would be dismissed. We had a lady go in and ask about her child being missing, her daughter being missing. And they asked her, they told her, do you even have a kid? I mean, they didn't believe she even had a child. That's ridiculous.
And I want to
That's
explain this. People are
crazy.
asking this. Well,
The disrespect. So, like I said, y'all, it's the laws and the people that work for the laws that need to change. Well, the people ain't gonna change. They gonna be who they are. But these laws and stuff, they really don't work for us all the time, right? Ain't that crazy, BFF? Wow. Yeah. That's what they do.
that was held hostage and let's say tortured and kidnapped, and you know, she was not a reported missing person. In the one way that they were attempting to debunk what you were saying was saying,
Oh, and that's the other thing, y'all, because of their lifestyle. That's why I said they are easy licks. Because of their lifestyle and not being at home and not being around family like that, they not reported missing. So when their friends is like, hey, my friend is missing or this person ain't been seen, they reporting them missing and they not accepting that. He said that at one point he looked around like, where's all the homeless people that used to be around here? They all gone. They all just disappeared. Wonder if savage ass Haslett had anything to do with that. Since I heard he was wearing little outfits, he was wearing some of that lingerie. Hell, that's probably why his wife left.
there's no reports
Who knows?
of missing people. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I want to explain, it's not so easy to report a missing adult. It's not as easy as people think that is. This was not a missing person. You know, so I just want to make that clear too. Just because there isn't a missing, just because there's not a missing persons report doesn't mean that there aren't missing women.
You said something that was very profound. It is difficult to report a missing person. The first thing you do is once you go in and they semi-believe you, you have to wait 48 hours.
Now, I'm sick of that. I'm sick of hearing 24 hours and 48 hours, depending on who you ask. It's like they tell you that, but that's really not true. I've heard this. That is not true. You can report a person missing when they missing. But to say 24 or 48 hours when that is the most crucial time of finding somebody. I mean, we know this from watching the first 48. Like, come on. And they want you to wait until all hopes of finding your loved one alive is gone. And they know this.
This is a long time for a loved one to be missing. And then you have to come back. Most people lose hope. Most people are discouraged at that time point. So they don't go back. And then sometimes when you go back, if you ever went into...
He really didn't look like a big man when I seen him in that footage. Whatever belt he had on was dang near about to fall to his ankles with his...
police station to make any type of report. The desk person or the officer that comes in to take the report, they listen to you. And then they tell you, okay, thank you. We'll add it to our report for that day.
Do that make sense? That they sitting there listening to you, taking notes, I guess, but no report? No, he basically said they go off of memory when they do write the report. So what is my point? Because you're human, right? You ain't gonna remember every single word I said, right? Unless it's recorded. So I'm supposed to just leave without a number of a report. And then when I call back to check on it, it didn't even get written. They don't even know what I'm talking about. Who I'm talking about. People not doing their dang on jobs.
And most times you leave out of there without a case number. They write all this down from memory. And half of the things get misconstrued over memory. That officer does not write it down right then and there. And if they do, if you look at some of their notes, they can barely read their own notes. So a date of birth, the misspelling of a name, just something as simple as that could be the report was never made. And knowing that it was. I wish that the police would have listened back then. And some of the other news outlets would have listened.
Why do it always have to be a fight for us? All our damn life we had to fight. For people to do their job, to live, just to be a human. Golly, man, like...
Even with that being said, how many other young ladies have to suffer because we won't pay attention?
They hate everything, it appears, Queen B. Everything but donuts.
How many other people have to suffer because we won't pay attention. They're not second-class citizens. And if you look at how he treated her, he put a collar, a steel metal collar with a padlock around her neck. Every time I think about that, it takes me back to thinking about slavery.
Bingo. That's what he was doing. Making America great again. You see what I'm saying? That's what he was doing in his basement.
How slaves were treated in that same exact fashion, sold from one to the other, and not even treated as human beings. He didn't treat her like a human. He didn't treat those other ladies like a human. She said her friends did not make it out. She didn't say her friend won. She said her friends did not make it out. I'm going to say this, and I may be out here on a limb, but I'm sitting here thinking after all that she endured, I'm believing that he psychologically tortured her also, telling her that no one's going to come looking for you, that no one's ever going to find you, you know, and if you run away, I'm going to kill you and them, you know, and that's what she made a statement about.
Oh, he just invincible. He can kick everybody, but you know what I'm saying? He can unalive everybody. But I mean, yeah. Barbaric, a beast, caveman. The look of depression, if it had a face. Welcome in, protect your peace. It's hard to protect my peace looking at this beast. Dang, that rhymed. Anyway.
They're thinking as they dismissed what I was saying, I'm believing in my mind he took that to even do more to her, you know, and let her know, hey, look, here's a news clip of they're not looking for you. They don't believe.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his. What in the fuckity fuck kind of shit is this?
Wow. Okay, enough of our outbursts. I'm just so annoyed right now, y'all. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe. Thank you for sharing me. Thank you for sharing me. Thank you for sharing me. For sharing me. For sharing me. For sharing me. Thank you for so much. All right. Here we
They
go.
don't believe that I have you or you're ever going to get away. I'm sitting there looking at, thinking about her and the hope leave her mind of ever getting out of there behind being dismissed and knowing that she had to act on her own because no one was coming for her. You know, just that by itself will kill
Yeah,
someone's spirit.
see, he was doing stuff like that. Tell her, ain't nobody looking for you. See, they don't even believe you're missing. See, ain't nobody thinking about your black, ugly, whatever, but I want to be a part of you. I want what you got. Matter of fact, give me them leggings. Give me that lace, them lace pantyhose. Like, just disgusting. Sound like he was having an identity crisis. I wonder how Bubba and them treating him.
To ever get out. This young lady is a hero. This young lady endured things that we would never fathom. And she got out. When others didn't, she got out. And we're starting to learn that this is not his first time.
Of course not.
Things of this nature have been going on for a while. There's a child that was in that house. That is terrifying to me.
That's
Did
crazy.
the child see this? Did the child know about it? Did the child think this was normal? You know, why did the wife divorce him? Did she know? She knew that he had this type of behavior. It's just too many red flags that went unnoticed. We always work missing people's cases all the time.
I remember the neighbor saying he would only raise his garage so far. And then I think they said this dude would roll under it. Did y'all hear that? I could have swore, I believe I did, but see, that was like when it happened. So I'm unsure, but I know that's what I heard. I believe that's what I heard. That he would roll he would raise his garage not even halfway, then he will roll up under it. And, so it was clear that he was hiding something. Clear. Nobody paid that no attention. Oh, he got blue barrels full of black women in his backyard. I remember a neighbor saying that he had some hand sanitizer that fell off of his truck or something, and they pulled up to try to give it to him, and he was acting kind of weird. But I'm just like, nobody really, they said he didn't really talk to them. He would avoid conversation. Wonder why.
Teen runaways, things of that nature. And because of that, a gentleman came in when his daughter went missing. And he got no response from the police department. He got no response from a lot of other community leaders. So he sought us out for help. He was passing out flyers, knocking on doors, and he was coming to his end of, I don't know who to turn to, when he was when we were recommended to him, the Justice and Dignity Center, for help. As we were looking for his child, knocking doors, interviewing people, we started hearing about, no, we haven't seen her, but we heard about this other young lady missing. And it just kept snowballing. As we're looking for one, we're starting to hear about other people missing, other young ladies missing, in the same area, about the same time. And then we're hearing about ones being found dead that never got reported, to authorities. Or should I say the authorities never said anything about it. A store owner came up and just told us point blank, as we were passing out the flyers, he said, I know of 2 women that were found near my gas station within the last 2 weeks. Never made the news.
Wow.
Never made the news.
Y'all hear
One was
this
found in
mess?
the field, never made the news.
How do you find this many women and don't alert the community? They don't care. This is why we need more people reporting our news.
One was found in the field.
One was found in a vacant lot, kind of a field, and that never made the news. Never, just got dismissed.
Sick.
Wow.
There's a lot of time points they'll dismiss them as, well, it's just a homeless person that passed away. It's too many areas that they look at to shape the truth or to escape the truth and not look at it. So they come up with excuses. Well, no one's reported them missing, but the parents are saying they're missing. That's enough. You don't have to report me missing, but if I am being reported missing, come look for me.
Yeah.
When was the last time point
it's your
that
dang job.
you even hear about authorities going looking for someone missing? I have not heard of a search party. It might be a small kid.
See, let me tell y'all, this is why the community has to get involved. I mean, a lot of times when these people go missing, it's not just the police helping. It be people that have resources like boats, jets. Usually it's like boats or somebody that will volunteer to go look in the water and things, sonar equipment and all kind of stuff. I mean, it's people that got YouTube channels that find cars people that's been missing from the 70s and all this stuff under the water that the police allegedly searched for and didn't find. It's all kind of vehicles up under the water and stuff, y'all. And so it's, a lot of times it's the community that come out there and also help them. So we gotta step in. You know what I'm saying? Like when they won't look, then we gotta have other resources. But you can't give up on your child because they don't give a damn about them.
Not in the inner city that they will look for. But even a small child on the inner city, they won't look for. Precious Doe, one of the biggest cases here in Kansas City, the community had to come together and go looking for that child. The community did that.
And it ain't just this guy either.
But the community.
And we hear all the time, and I want to share this, we hear all the time that it's missing white women that make the news, the missing Black women, missing women of color or people of color do not. And I want to say that is true. And I want you to share anything you can tell us to help this very sad statistic. And I think your video and how you're dismissed I think is an important example of this. And I want our channel to be able to listen and to understand it and let us know how we can help and be more aware.
We had a community meeting every Monday at the Justice Center at 6 o'clock. We have a community meeting with all the community leaders and the grassroots organizations come together, and we share information. And we try to get some of that information over to the police department that they might need. One of the things that came up in last week's meeting was, where are all the homeless? If you notice, it used to be quite a bit of them throughout the city, in the inner city. We don't see them anymore. Where did they go?
Come on, y'all.
What has happened to
That's
them?
crazy, man.
Just like
A
these
warning to our
young ladies.
listeners and viewers.
They used to be everywhere. Where did they go? It's almost like they're just being literally taken away and done something to. And in this case, we found out it to be true. You know, no one wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be homeless. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be kidnapped. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be tortured. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I want to be murdered. But these things are happening on the inner city, and they're just being dismissed left and right. And anytime that we speak about them,
Even though the department says there are no reports of missing,
that I should be quiet because
A warning to
I
our
can't say
listeners.
certain things because it is football season and it will affect the tourism if we say certain things. When did
And that's a fact, y'all. I believe that is why Shanquilla Robinson's is not solved and why they don't give a damn, because they more concerned about tourists being able to visit where they are versus finding out what happened to somebody. You know, Shanquilla Robinson's was something different, but still, it was Mexico not giving a damn about an American and America not caring and them just saying, "Oh, our case is closed," and that's it. Like, I don't even know if she'll ever get justice, y'all. The FBI ain't trying to pick it up, nothing. But I mean, that just made me think about that when he said that part.
life become less important than the bottom line?
So, going back to October 7th, 2 weeks after Tony Caldwell posted his concerns, TJ allegedly told police and others that she was able to escape when she heard Timothy leave the house to drop his young son off at school. Now, more on this later. TJ managed to slip her arms out of the chains, pull a keypad off the wall, and unlock the basement door, allowing her to save herself and run to the neighbors for help. EMS officers on the scene removed the collar from her neck, and they also noticed injuries on her back that are consistent with having been whipped. TJ was able to point out the home where she said she had been held captive as she was being taken to the hospital. She was treated and later released. The home that she was being held hostage and tortured at for over a month was 301 Old Orchard Street in Excelsior Springs, and police began investigating the house immediately and the person living there, 39-year-old Timothy Haslett Jr. As first responders helped TJ and transported her to the hospital, officers set up surveillance and waited for Timothy to arrive home. Not for an hour after that initial 911 call did Timothy arrive back home in a gray Dodge Ram pickup. Officers conducted a felony traffic stop and took Timothy into custody on an unrelated animal control violation. And now, an hour is a long time to be gone for just dropping a child off at a nearby elementary school. And so we did some investigating. Hidden True Crime has learned through reliable sources that despite what Timothy told TJ, he was actually not dropping his son off. Someone else took his child to school that morning. Instead, it looks as if the unemployed Timothy Haslett Jr. was headed to a job interview. And when he was arrested, he actually had a vial of urine strapped around his upper leg and hidden under his clothing. So most likely to use for a drug test that he had to take.
What?
We also know that the reason he actually came back to his residence is that his dog was outside running around, which it makes sense that his dog escaped when TJ did. And that was how police were able to make a quick arrest on the animal control violation.
Wow, y'all. It's so much to this. So much to this. I didn't even know that part. I guess I missed that. But this other part I wanted to listen to because it's some other people from the community that can speak on what the Caldwell guy was saying and how they felt like they were treated in all of this. Wow. So he was actually about to try to get a job? How does that work, sir? And he thought she was just going to be in there chilling. Well, now he got a job punching license plates. You know what I'm saying? That's what he can do. Make Bubba a sandwich or something, you know? I'm sure they can put him to work in the joint. Now, let's see what they saying on here.
Possibly by a serial killer. Police responded by saying the report I faintly heard Springs, Missouri, escaped from a white man who she says held her captive in his basement for nearly a month, whipping, torturing, and raping her repeatedly. The woman fled and knocked on a neighbor's door for help after the man left the house to take his son to school. About 7:30 a.m.
And we just heard her say he wasn't doing that.
I faintly heard a
I didn't
young
know the
female
dog was out.
saying, "Help me." Lisa Johnson was the first person to encounter the woman and to help rescue her. She told the Excelsior Citizen the woman was nearly naked as she pleaded for help. It was actually like an S&M dress. It was plastic, black plastic, very short. It wasn't shorts, it was a dress. That's all she had on, and the duct tape around her neck and the collar. And it was restricted. It was a metal collar. It looked like a shot collar, a homemade one at that. I seen her wrists were pretty messed up and her ankles. Asked what she needed. It was obvious. I didn't really have to ask at that point. I just started looking. First thing I did was tell her I was calling the police. That kind of agitated her. She told her that if I called the police, that he would kill both of us if he found out. She said he already killed her two friends that she was with. The woman who escaped said other Black women were killed by her abductor. She's not spoken publicly.
Now, that woman's story was questionable because she ain't the one that actually helped her. She went on to another person's house, and they were saying that she didn't say that. She did want 911 call. What the hell she escaped for if she didn't want 911 call? And she ran away from her, went to the other neighbor that let her in and gave her some muffins and some water, and she scarfed them down like crazy.
She's not been named, but she helped break open a story that the Kansas City police had vehemently denied as community members raised alarm that Black women and girls were being disappeared in September, possibly by a serial killer. Police responded by saying the reports were, quote, completely unfounded. Some of the concerns were raised in a now viral video by Bishop Tony Caldwell of Eternal.
Not just unfounded, but completely unfounded. These people lying. We know they live in a community and see the people and don't see them no more, but we don't give a damn what they say. We gonna come out and say it's nothing founded.
Life Church by the independent publication, the Kansas City Defender.
I am a little upset right now. The reason I'm upset is because we got 4 young ladies that have been murdered within the last week.
So this is the guy we was just listening to. He's the Kansas City Defenders, and you can find him on YouTube under that channel.
Here off of 85th and Prospect, we got a serial killer again, and ain't nobody saying nothing. The media's not covering it. We got 3 young ladies that are missing. Ain't nobody saying a word. What is the problem? Why can't we get some cooperation? Where's our community leaders? Where's our activists? Where's our public officials? Where's our police department? Where is those folks at?
Crazy,
in President Gardens. Come on now. We need to start knocking doors. We need to start making sure that this is brought to the light. We cannot continue to let this happen.
Anybody want to say something
After
about
that
a race
video
card?
went viral in September, the Kansas City Police Department
Anybody want to say something about using a race card? Like, the laws don't work for you if you're Black. No one does their job, allegedly. That's what the guy just said.
Person insisted there was, quote, no basis to support this rumor, unquote. But police have since arrested 39-year-old Timothy Haslett of Excelsior Springs, Missouri for kidnapping.
Like, look at this piece of crap. Oh my God, let me just let this play. I can't. I want to go in so bad.
And torturing the woman who escaped. The Kansas City Defender has reported on a social media post saying they show the sexual predator was, quote, a white supremacist who believed we are in a race war. For more, we're joined in Kansas City by 2 guests, Ryan Sorrell, founder of the Black-led independent newspaper, the Kansas City Defender, and Justice Gatson, executive director of the Real Justice Network, a Black woman-led organization based in Kansas City, Missouri.
Work with Caldwell. She gonna say something sideways about him.
Welcome you both to Democracy Now! I mean, Ryan, your Black-led independent newspaper has been leading the charge on this as the police department adamantly denied there was any issue until this woman escaped with chains. Can you take us through
Yeah,
the
I heard that.
story? And not only her.
We don't see nothing or hear nothing, but soon as she escaped, they wanted to thank all the other departments for helping this and that and the third. Like, what?
Story, but she said to the woman who helped her that her friends were killed.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that this is one of the most horrific tragedies that I have ever come across in my lifetime. I know that when we first reported this story, we received it from numerous community members who were making these reports and testimonies, is what we refer to them as. The police department refers to them as rumors, largely because they come from the Black community. But we reported these reports and testimonies in mid to late September. And, you know, rather than reaching out to us to understand and gather more information about where we got this information from, rather than reaching out to the community to understand where these concerns were coming from, the police department, 3 days after we reported this initially, you know, came out and literally just said these are completely unfounded rumors, is what they called them. And as you mentioned, they said that there's no basis to support these claims. And so to me and to us and our community, the number one problem with how the police department handled this situation was that they called it completely unfounded without doing any type of investigation at all. And it seemed, you know, much more like they were actually trying to discredit our community voice.
Well, have we heard any of this stuff in the past month that we've been covering the case? Like, this is just universal, man. If you Black, allegedly.
Voices, and to silence our community voices than to, you know, look after what was actually happening in our community. And to us, that's a testament to the type of anti-Blackness that is prevalent in our police department, which is also currently under federal investigation for racism and discrimination. And so once these new revelations came out, I actually reached out to the police department to see if they would update their statement or if they still maintained their initial position that our reports were completely unfounded. And they said that they do still maintain, you know, regardless of these new revelations that clearly show that they were wrong, they said they still maintain their position that what we reported, they said specifically, was completely unfounded. And so we think that this is a larger conversation.
Do you hear this? What they reported was unfounded, yet they founded some stuff that leads back to what they already said. These people are too privileged and prideful to admit when they damn wrong on top of it. Like, let's bury that. Let's go on and bury that bone. Bury that too. Yeah. Who gonna believe you non-humans over us? Don't believe your lying eyes and the experiences that you had with us. Ooh.
Even beyond this specific situation, we think that this speaks to the silencing, the violent silencing of Black women specifically, of the Black community at large here in Kansas City. And this is actually something that has been happening since the inception of the Kansas City Police Department. And we know that this is not the first time that this has ever happened.
And Ryan, I wondered if you could elaborate on that, some of the department's legacy of inflicting violence on the Black community, and also at times even police officers themselves implicated.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. I mean, our police department, as I mentioned, is under federal investigation at this very moment. The federal investigation was launched a little bit over a month ago. Even just this past year, there have been multiple cases where the police department has been indicted for corruption. For instance, a situation last year where the very first police officer in Kansas City Police Department history was finally indicted for the murder of an unarmed Black man. And in that case, this was the case of Cameron Lamb. In that case, it was proven in the courtroom that the Kansas City Police Department planted evidence. They planted a gun and said that it was from Cameron Lamb. In another instance, a man named Malcolm Johnson was murdered in a gas station, and the police department in the official police reports said that Malcolm Johnson was armed and that he was engaged in a shootout with the police department. And it wasn't until weeks later when employees of that gas station leaked surveillance footage that showed that not only was Malcolm Johnson unarmed the entire time, but that he was actually being held down by 3 police officers, and one of the police officers accidentally shot another police officer and then murdered Malcolm. And so this pattern of what's taking place in our city with the police department lets us know that we have no expectation any longer that they have the capability to be able to provide safety for people in our communities. And so that's why people like you'll hear from Justice Gatson from the Real Justice Network, these Black women who are creating infrastructure and public safety infrastructure that we can create for ourselves in our community so that we don't have to rely on this police department that we know is very clearly and blatantly anti-Black, blatantly racist, and is currently being investigated for these things. So.
Yeah, you mentioned Justice Gatson. I'd like to bring you into the conversation. Welcome to Democracy Now! And could you talk about the Excelsior Springs neighborhood where Timothy Haslett lived, and Prospect Avenue, the area where the 22-year-old Black woman who escaped his house was from?
Thank you for hanging out, Angel. See you in the next live stream. I don't even know how long I was muted that time. But okay. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't even remember what the heck I said. I don't even remember what I said. But it's just, one of the things I said, the Cameron Lamb person. I was like, I wonder about that. I actually looked up a couple videos that quick, but he mentioned, the cop unaliving him and how they just turned a blind eye. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I wanted to finish that article that I was reading. Let me see if I could find it. Dang, I cleared it out. God dang it. Why did I do that? Hold on, I'm gonna let the lady talk just while I figure this out. Her and the Caldwell guy must have had some type of falling out. Let's see what she got to say.
Area, the 80s, that would be considered in the city of Kansas City. And so you'll have to drive out of the city into Excelsior Springs. And so it's a smaller community in Excelsior Springs, a quieter community. And quite frankly, I could see an easier space to get away with something like this. That's the community, that's the landscape. This woman was snatched off of the streets in the city and driven to a suburb and forced to stay there for nearly a month and be the subject of sexual violence and abuse.
Now, Justice, I mean, this isn't a police department. When asked about it by Ryan's newspaper, when Ryan himself asked the Black-led independent newspaper, the Kansas City Defender, about these accusations that women and girls were disappearing, it wasn't just we're investigating and they dragged their feet. This was them adamantly denying this and not even taking it back to this point, though they did indict this man who it's now believed is a white supremacist, this incredibly brave woman saving herself, escaping in chains when he was taking his kid to school. What do you know about perhaps what she referred to, other women who he killed?
I don't know how I keep getting muted. Okay. But what I was saying is his court date is not until December of next year. This is what they're saying. His last hearing, he didn't even show up for. And it was, I think yeah, I think that's what I have read, that he didn't. Wait a minute. No, I'm getting them mixed up now. He had to have been there. Okay, I think I found the hold on. She reported to investigators that Haslett had RAP'd her multiple times and frequently, and that she managed to escape when he took his kid to school, which they just said that wasn't true. So the letter was found in the filing unrelated. So Haslett's ex-wife had asked the court to grant a temporary restraining order against him in order to gain temporary custody of their young son. So while I understand the allegations are serious, they are nothing more than that, Haslett Jr. said in his 8th-page handwritten letter. So yeah, who reading 8 pages from this creep? Hold on. Oh, there's another picture of Janie. Wow. Like, she looked so much older in the one picture. But seeing her whole here, you can tell that I don't know, how old did they say she was? Hold on, y'all. They have not gave a lot of information, about the victims, which that's the part I need to search for. Who are all of they? I want faces. I want to know who they were. Are they family speaking out? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of those cases where family should speak out. But maybe they won't, or maybe embarrassed because they wasn't close to their loved ones. I don't know, but I haven't. I'm going to start looking around. Just to see, kayak remains. So they giving like a timeline here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dive back into this. But let me see what y'all saying. Y'all kind of quiet. I know BFF is at work. Angela said the authorities sure take their sweet time. Yes. When white suspects that harm black victims. That's a fact. It's like, what are y'all waiting for? Somebody to pass away? Because you already know if this lady had that kind of lifestyle, possibly on drugs and all this, and things going on, it's worse now. If she not being taken care of with being loved on by a family or whatever. I read somewhere that they said she's still homeless, and let me see if I could find that article, because let me see. Let's see. It said, now this article was written, this was actually written October 11th of 2022. So this was written right after but I don't know if this is true. Like, I mean, this ain't gospel. But it says the Excelsior Spring victim who escaped a man's house knocked on nearby doors for help Friday. Okay, she was wearing a trash bag. Anyway, according to court documents filed, woman escaped. Hold on, this might not be the one. He whipped her, restraining her, injuries on her back consistent with this. The victim reportedly said, yeah. Okay. But no, that's not the article. But I definitely read it though. Like they basically said she's still homeless and on drugs, I guess. But I don't know. I really don't know. Just knowing the things that I know now, and I mean the stuff that I've been watching for 4 years. I mean, golly. What do? You just hope for some good, decent people in this world that take on their jobs and do what they supposed to do and not be creeps about it. But we have to deal with this in everyday life, every day of our life. And it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. But as long as y'all aware of what's going on, we're going to continue to cover these cases like this. I will be talking about the other ladies on the thumbnail. I'm not going to mix it right now. And we're going to continue to talk about Javion as well. So if y'all don't have anything to say, I'm going to go ahead and end it, y'all. Because I got a real schedule too. So I ain't going to tell all that, but got some things I got to do. So I thank y'all for hanging out for this 1 hour and 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all continue to comment on the video. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. If you hear on a replay, drop down and let me know what you think as well. And we're going to get up out of here. Shout out to the 55 still in the building. Please smack that thumbs up on the way out if you didn't get a chance to smack it while you were here. We're going to give you a few minutes. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please. Shout out to Sleuth Nation over here and the winning team. That's for my members, actually. But okay, y'all, we're going to get up out of here. What's up, Jay? Money, thank you for coming through. What's that replay? Back that thumbs up. Shout out to my member, Angela. Thank you for coming through. BFF. Shout out to Angel Star doing a next video. Thank you to everybody participating in chat. Shout out to Fly Eagles. Was it Kansas City, Missouri? Peace and love, y'all. We out.